Hey, my ECG family, it's Mimi, and I was just checking in from my going out with my daughters yesterday, and really focusing my mind on when I got up this morning. Let me start this over again. When I got up this morning, and I weighed myself, and I'm grateful I had a 0.8 loss. Yesterday, I had a 1.5, 1.5 loss, and so I woke up today with a 0.8. So for 17 days, of course, today's my 18th day on very low calorie. So since my loading, I have lost 15.4 pounds in 17 days. So I'm really happy with that. Even that one day that I had gained a pound, and I think a lot of that had to do with bathroom issues and that. So, but yesterday I took my daughters to get a pedicure. I did not get a pedicure. I sit there and watch them get a pedicure, and I was happy about that. I just didn't, I took a shower before we left. I thought, well, I could also get a pedicure, but you know what? Tell you the truth, I just didn't feel like shaving my legs, and I just didn't want to. I didn't want to risk whatever lotions, and I didn't want to go in there and give the whole rigmarole. So anyway, I just sat there for an hour and just watched people and that kind of thing, and that was fine. And then my daughters realized they couldn't put their shoes on, and they didn't bring flip-flops, so of course it was like 24 degrees here yesterday, so we had to drive over to Old Navy to get some flip-flops, and to that we went around, and my daughter, she's pregnant with my third grandchild, and so she had to get something to eat, of course, so we went over to the mall, which is across the street, and they got a pretzel. They both got a pretzel and Auntie Anne's, and they're like, Mom, I just ate it. Is this going to bother you if I eat? I'm like, no, it's not going to bother me. But you know what? I can tell you it did not bother me because they can have a pretzel and I can't. But when you are surrounded by the food, and I used to work at the mall. I used to work for Macy's and worked for Estee Lauder and the fragrance department there. And I'm sorry my hair looks like crap. I have not done anything. I have not brushed my teeth. I'm so glad that on YouTube and you can't really see how bad it really is. But anyway, I go in, and of course, it's a mall, so we go right into the courtyard. So you go in there and there's all this, the food and everything, and it kind of, because I hadn't been there in a while, and the smell of all the foods and the self-talk I was already doing in my head. My daughter said, you've been quiet. And I'm like, listen, I might have been quiet on the outside, but on the inside, I am loud. I have not shut up from the time that I got in the car to go pick her up. And so, it's just the preparation. Okay, I've got to make up my mind. I took plenty of water with me. So, I go and sit down. I get a booth and I sit down, and they come with their pretzels, and I had my bottled water, and so I was just drinking water and just looking around because I hadn't been there in a while, and just talking. My biggest concern was, okay, where are we going to eat, because she's pregnant and some foods sound good to her and some foods don't, and so I know she had mentioned something about this Mexican restaurant over at another, we call it Crestview Hills, and they got stores, little stores set up, and fortunately it was a Mexican restaurant that I think has the worst Mexican food ever, but every time she's eating there, she's got a dish or something, and she really likes it. So I got on there and checked the menu the day before and was looking and thought, they'll just have to bring me a bowl of lettuce, and I just pour vinegar on it or salt and pepper just so I don't look like a complete freak just sitting there while they're eating. But anyway, fortunately, she picked a restaurant called the Bonefish. I don't know how many there are, but they usually do, seasonal fish. They get it fresh, and so I was really grateful. We were concerned about the one meal that she likes to get there that they didn't have, but fortunately, thank goodness, in my head, I'm like, oh, please, please, let's not get up and leave and go to the Mexican restaurant because I already see what I want to get. So she decided, to stay, and I already knew. I seen on the menu what I was going to get, and I asked the waitress, and I said, listen, I said, how difficult would it be for them to cook my fish without any oils? And she said, Olympia, Washington. I get these calls. Anyway, I don't know if I can stop it. So anyway, just ignore that, okay? So anyway, I asked her, and I had told her, and she said, absolutely no problem. So I got rainbow trout, and if anybody knows about rainbow trout, they slice it. I mean, it's a very thin fish, and when they cut it open, of course, they keep the skin on. But, the meat on it is so thin. I mean, it's so delicate just to get the skin off. And I also got asparagus. So they steamed the asparagus. There was no butter. There was no oil on it. And I ordered a hot cup of tea. I really was wanting a glass of wine, but I had already done the whole self-talk, or somebody have it now. I think I have a glass, but then I have a glass. No, I have a beer. I have a Miller Lite beer. Wanting to, you're out to this nice restaurant, but I didn't. I thought, well, before I, say, hey, I think I'll take a beer, I went ahead and say, hey, I'll take a cup of hot tea. And my daughters both drank water. Of course, my one daughter's pregnant, so she's not going to drink. And it turned out it was a beautiful evening. I was actually full. I left one asparagus spear. You could get like two vegetable, one and then another. And I said, just give me extra asparagus. And so I even left a spear there, which my daughter ate. And I was very satisfied. I came home, and of course I came home like, yes, you did it. But even going to Old Navy, you go into Old Navy now, and they've got like, candy and all that kind of stuff, so you're just walking around and you're looking, and there is food in every store that you go into. There is some kind of junk to see. So I'm like, I'm really trying to, focus. I'm trying to absorb it. I was emotionally trying to absorb everything possible. Mentally, I was trying to absorb it. I thought, this is the world that we live in America. You cannot go anywhere that you are not surrounded by some kind of something to put in your mouth. So, when I walked into the mall and I walked into the courtyard and I see, all these restaurants. Well, I work there. But on any given day where I am not on this protocol, and if I would have walked in the mall and I would have looked, I would have had not given those restaurants a time of day, because I know the stuff that they're selling is crap. I mean, it's just really, it's fast. They call it fast food, but it's not food. It really isn't food. So I would have never, it's just like Auntie Anne's pretzels. I'm not a big pretzel eater at all. Now, my husband, likes them. But we've gone where there's been an Auntie Anne, and he'll get him, a pretzel. And do you want one? I'm like, no, I don't. I just don't like them. I mean, they're not big deal. Now, you take the hot dog and the pretzel wrapped around it at Auntie Anne's. When I worked there at Macy's, I would get this like $3 and something for this little, this hot dog was ridiculous. And bread butt, and you dip that in mustard, that was flipping good. I can't even imagine. I mean, it's just bad for you. Which explains, why I'm in the shape that I am. But anyway, that was it. I was just doing a, really trying to say, okay, this is something good for me. I need to plug in to the emotions of being around foods like this, because people go out and they work every day. They work outside of their home. They either work, you could work in retail and you're surrounded by food. And not only that, you can't go anywhere to anybody who doesn't talk about food. So I thought, I'm going to really do some self-talking. So I was doing that. I was like, okay,
Now, what happens when I'm off of this protocol and I get into phase 4 and I just lose, all of the fat that I'm going to lose, and I'm in the same situation? Or we even go to a nice restaurant. What am I going to order at the nice restaurant? It's just making this plan to, I'm just doing this to lose weight? Because I've been on a lot of diets and lost a lot of weight. I mean, we all can say we've lost weight and gained weight and lost weight and gained weight, probably thousands of pounds, over, our lifetime, at least those that are a half century. But, I don't want it to be that way. I want it to be in that moment of realizing that this is where we live. Now, what am I going to do? It's making mental preparation for my life. And that's what I wanted to do, is to make mental preparation of my life. Not to say, man, I cannot wait until I'm, in phase 4. Because that's what happened before. When I did phase 3 and I stabilized, I did awesome. But I didn't make plans to go actually and do another round and say, okay, I'm going to do phase 3 and then I'm going to go phase 4 and then I'm going to go back on the protocol again. I really didn't want to do that. And so in my mind, it's like, man, now we're going to see how this works. So I'm sorry, I'm not really having a hot flash. It's that niacin. I just took one of them and I haven't ate today. But anyway, I thought I'm not gonna. I lost my train of thought. Heavy, another brain fart. Cried. Anyway, I'm not going to go back to like I did before. That's what I was talking about. Like I did before, to where I'm in phase 4, and so I'm going to order me a large pepperoni pizza, with bacon on it, and onions, and jalapeno peppers, and sauce, and then just wolf about 5 pieces of that down and stuff myself, because that's what I did last time. Not only was I not hungry, I ate like 1 piece, maybe 2 pieces, and I would be literally stuffed, but would continue to force maybe 2 more pieces down. And then when I'd go in the kitchen, if there was left, and it cooled down again, and I'm putting putting the pieces in one box that was left over, because of course you got to get the big deal. You got to get 3 medium pizzas because they're, $23 for that. So I'm combining what we didn't eat and putting it in the one box, and then decide, well, I'm just going to go ahead and have 1 more piece. When I'm stuffed. I mean, I'm miserable. So I've got to get over that. I've got to stop doing that. If I go out to eat and I order something, if I can't finish eating, I can't finish eating it. Let it go, for crying out loud. Take it home for tomorrow. Or just leave it on the plate, or just don't go out to eat. Limit yourself of going out to eat. And, when your kids are grown and they're doing their own thing, so now you want to go out to eat and enjoy a meal and not have to pay, $50, where you go out and have it and eat and have a couple beers and pay, $24, $25. It's like, this is what I waited for all my life, which is not very ambitious, but I mean, we want to live a very sustainable life and have garden and have fresh foods and vegetables and stuff like that. So, but anyway, I just want to tell you, I made it through, and I even had in my mind, I was talking to myself while they were eating their pretzels. Okay, when I get home and I'm going to make me, strawberry smoothie, I'm already planning, okay, I'm going to make me something that, it's going to be good and flavorful, and I can eat. It's like, I'm going to show, I'm going to show this body that, hey, you can do this. But I came home, I was comfortable, and so I just drank a couple waters, because we went to the bookstore. We went to Michael's Craft Store, and we went to the bookstore,
And it's half-price books, and some of them are used in that. My daughter wanted to go there. It's her birthday. She gets to go where she wants to. So I'm sitting there holding some of the other bags, stuff from Michael's, and all of a sudden my whole body starts swelling up. Plus I had like cowboy boots on, and, you know, I had like way more clothes on than, you know, like now. And most of the time I'm here at home, unless I go to the grocery store. But anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm at a panic because I didn't bring my water in the store. Now we've been in 2 stores. Now I'm sitting and I can just see my body. It's just ballooning up. So I'm like starting to freak out. I'm like, I should have brought my water. I should have brought my water. I should have brought my water. And I thought, you know, here I am. I'm walking around. We've been out. So now when I step on the scale, okay, I'm not going to step on the scale. I'm not going to get on it because I don't want to be a slave to that scale. And I think in phase 2, it really doesn't matter if you don't have to weigh yourself every day. And I talked about that, I think, with my last blog about, you know, just wait until the end of the week. So I argued in my head about that. So anyway, I got up this morning and decided I'm going to go ahead and step on the scale because I got to know. So, and I thought, and I'm not going to manipulate the scale. I'm not going to stand on it. I'm not going to get up and down on it 10 times. You know, until it comes over the number that I like. So, you know, nope, that's not a good one. That's not what I'm after. Let's stand on it again. You know, let's go. Oh, that's not good. Maybe I need to go trim my toenails. You know, maybe I've been here thinking about I need bangs. Maybe I'll go cut my hair and then go back on it. You know, because I take everything off when I go into this bedroom, which has the heater turned off. It is freezing in there, so there's only so long I can really stand there with nothing on in this room. But, you know, I thought, okay, I'm just going to stand on it one time. Whatever it says is whatever it says. If I'm imbalanced, I got to catch myself, you know. And not only that, I've got the scale standing in front of a full-length mirror. So I got to tell you, I try my hardest not to look. I don't want to do that because this is the beginning of my day, and I don't want to have that kind of shock. I mean, we used to have a mirror that was big enough when you got out of the shower. You know, every time you stepped out of the shower, bam, and you're like, you know what, I will never have a mirror in a bathroom again. So here I am stepping in front of this crazy mirror, weighing myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm really going to drag myself through the coals, you know, but, so anyway, I stood on there the one time and it popped 204 and I said, that's it. And I actually thought I'd gained. I thought yesterday when I weighed myself, I was 203, so, and I might have been, and I jostled around with it so many times, but really it was 204.8, so, anyway, so 204, I lost 0.8, and that's awesome, and I'm really super thrilled about it. If it was 0.2, I would have been thrilled because I was really concerned about. I came home and I wanted to drink. I drank some more water, but I didn't want to drink a whole lot of water because, you know, I don't mind getting up in the middle of the night and going to the restroom, but when you got the furnace turned down and our bedroom is over top the garage, which is not insulated, and 2 outside walls, and I live in a house that was like built, I don't know, in the 1920s. So, needless to say, it is not insulated at all. I think there's like the walls are Formica because the man who built this house worked for the company Formica. So, some of the walls in the house, which we did not know when we bought it, okay, I'm rambling, was Formica. So, anyway, I just wanted to let you know, and I love you all. I love all your comments and commitments and realness and everything. And I appreciate you all, and I appreciate how we're all kind of going into this a little bit deeper. You know, I watched vlogs a lot when I was first on the protocol, and there wasn't a whole lot that's there now that I remember, and except Mama Clock, and I probably spent more time listening to hers. I listened to all of hers, and but to really see that, these books that has come out, that it's really been helpful for all of us, and that we are learning, that we are willing to go deeper with this. Fashionista, had brought up about these books too, and Hebby Dobby, and I just really appreciate it, because we're really saying, okay, we want to be serious this time. We want to get to the root of what is going on, because we don't want to go down this road again. And I can tell you something I've learned over the years. Going down the wrong road never turns into the right one. Never does. Once you walk on the wrong road, it stays the wrong road. And when the signs start coming up and they're telling you where you're headed and the bridge is out, and you don't heed those warnings, you're headed for disaster. We have to turn around and we have to find the right route to go. We have to do that. And that means turning around and going back. And before, I didn't want to invest the time to do that. I didn't mentally want to invest that time. And I've learned about my resentment. I've learned about my selfishness. I've learned about gluttony. I've learned a feeling that just because I'm entitled, that I can do this, and I can overeat. I can do these things, that I'm entitled to it, whatever excuses that I use for myself. So, and I know we're all going through that process, and I think it's 100% more important than just losing the weight, losing the fat, because once you lose it, you're still with you. We still wake up with the same, I'm with me every day. And if I'm not willing to confront the lies that I've told myself over the majority of my adult life when it comes to my physical body, then it's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. I'm going to be right back where I started again. And it's hard. It is a hard path. Nobody said, it was an easy path, even with our spiritual life. And I believe that God had led me to this protocol, and I believe He's put me on a narrow path, and there's a ditch on both sides. And so we need help. I need help. I need His help. And I'm trusting the Lord to really bring things to my attention in my life and in my heart that's not supposed to be there. So anyway, it's getting 22 minutes. So there again, I thank everybody. I hope everybody has releases and stabilization and maintenance. And I also wanted to make a shout out to HCG Darling, and about her mother. I believe she said, my goodness, that's just terrible. My husband just found out about his aunt, and she's like in her 90s, and she's lived by herself, and her husband's been dead several years, and she is the sweetest woman. And a while back we'd offered her, she has no children, but she has a lot of nieces and nephews, and for her to come and stay here, she was like, fortunately someone was with her when she just kind of was leaning over, and that is very stressful. That's very difficult. But that's reality. That's reality of life. So my prayers are out to you, HCG Darling. I know you and your brother have some serious decisions to make, and bless her heart. We're all getting older, and that's my desire, is take better care with this temple than I ever had before. And so I just want to let you know that. So anyway, I'm getting off of here. It's almost like 25 minutes. I'm absolutely loving it. My gosh, I hope I don't do this every time, and I know you all hope I don't either. So you all have a wonderful day and evening, and I'm going to listen to some vlogs. I didn't have enough time to go through Rilla Sevilla. I didn't have time to go through your 3, so I'm going to do that. I didn't have time last night when I got home. So, love you guys. Appreciate you. A big hug to my HCG family. Bye.